Yo, what's up, man? Hector here, strongnestheck.com. So, gonna be doing a little, I don't know, day in the life of Hector, I guess. Give you a little insight of what my day-to-day is like. So, it's about 10 in the morning, 10:50 in the morning here, and I just finished doing some work in the office, finished editing some videos, finished going through some emails, already taking kids to school and all that jazz. So usually what I do is I like to work in like 90-minute blocks. So I'll work for 90 minutes and then I give myself a 30-minute break, and then within that 30 minutes I'll either get something to eat or I'll go outside for a quick like 10-minute walk. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna knock out 100 kettlebell snatches with a 24 kilo. Sounds crazy, right? But back in beginning of 2021, I did this little, I'm always doing experiments. I'm always doing experiments. I did a little experiment where I started, I was like, you know, like right now I'm doing the deadlift, the daily deadlift, right? Deadlift daily experiment. I want to see what happens if I deadlift a barbell every single day. As of right now, I think I'm on day 54 of recording this video. But back in 2021, January 1st, 2021, I was like, you know what? I wanted to find just a super minimalist. I'm all about minimalism. I'm all about that less is more approach to life, to my strength training, to everything. And so I was like, well, you know, what is like what is a purest form of minimalist training, all right? And there's several different ways. I mean, I come up with several different ways to be a minimalist in training. You know, we've got kettlebells, we got body weight, going for a daily walk, things like that. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything else. What's the one thing that I can do that's going to help improve my endurance, my grip, something I enjoy doing, it's going to make me stronger, etc., etc. And so I decided to snatch a kettlebell every day, 100 snatches every single day. And that's what I'm going to do today. And I did that for about, I don't even know why I stopped, but I did it for about 5 months straight without fail. Here in Texas, it froze over, what was it, February of 2021? Like, it was, everything was iced over. It was like 18 degrees for like a whole week, and which is pretty cold here for us Texans. And I even did my snatches outside during that. I did my 100 snatches out literally like right behind me here on the ice walkway. A little bit of the ice melted a little bit, so I wasn't being irresponsible, but I still did my 100 snatches. So without fail, 18-degree weather, 100 snatches, and I'm only using a 24 kilo. And so I'll break down a little bit of what I'm doing, but right now I'm just gonna get it done. So I did that for 5 months. I don't even know why I stopped. And why the kettlebell snatch, I'll get more into that as soon as I wrap it up. But for right now, I'm gonna hop over and start snatching. Kettlebell, 100 snatches, all right? Let's get started. So that's it, man. You can see there, that session took me exactly, what, just under 20 minutes. And so I guess the inspiration for me to get back to doing that was, for one, I just love doing who doesn't love doing kettlebell snatches, right? So like I mentioned, I like to do my work in 90-minute blocks. I did some work, and after that, I usually like to go out for a walk. I saw this PhD reference a study on like the damaging effects of sitting, and I even wrote an article on this on the Strong as Heck blog, and I referenced a couple of resources that doctors that did these studies. And the last one that I saw was something crazy like, you know how me and everybody in the fitness world kind of encourage you to get in like 10,000 steps, right? Get out, be active, walk as much as you can. I've been walking every day, pretty much without fail since the start of 2020. I'll walk every single day, anywhere from 3 to 4 miles, like an intentional get out, walk 3 to 4 miles. I do that every day. Then I get in these little 10-minute walks, like after I eat as well. It's something I learned from Stan Efforty. And so, anywho, this PhD referenced this research around how, I think it was like doing your 10,000 steps, right? Like, I think it was 5 hours. I want to say it was 5 hours of sitting pretty much erases the damaging effects I'm sorry, 5 hours of sitting erases the benefits of getting out and walking and putting in your 10,000 steps. So sitting for 5 straight hours straight. And so that was really eye-opening to me. I can't remember the PhD's name. If I can find it, I think actually he did a post on it. If I can find it, I'll drop it in the description. Or even I might even add it here as a screenshot into the video. But so I've been walking pretty much every day, right, for the last 2+ years, intentional, getting out. And then I started doing these 100 snatches every day because 1, I wanted to work on my snatch technique. 2, super minimalist. It hits everything. I mean, I'm like sweating like crazy. Gets my heart rate up, but it's not too taxing. So 100 snatches sounds crazy. It sounds insane, but it's repeatable. It's sustainable. I did it for 5 months and I didn't stop because like I was too fatigued. I don't even know why I stopped doing it. You know what? I think I stopped doing it because I started doing 75 hard and it requires 2 45-minute workouts. And this snatch session only takes like 20 minutes or less. And so I was kind of trying to make things up to get the 45 minutes. And I didn't like that. So I think that's why I kind of stopped the snatching because it was kind of too short. And I wanted to do something that was more complete, more within like a 45-minute time frame. So, but anyway, I didn't stop because it was too hard to sustain. And that's one of the key things I talk about this on my email list is I talk about this concept of the sustainable strength solution, right? And that is essentially finding something that's simple, right? Something that's simple to do, right? And now snatches aren't simple, but in terms of it's minimal, it's minimalist, it's one movement. And the reason why I chose this snatch over like the swing or whatever, I'm not against like swings and whatnot, is it is I would probably say the best single movement kettlebell exercise, right? It's just one uninterrupted movement, right? Compared to the swing, the snatch goes further. So you're doing more work. So you're requiring more oxygen from the upper body, right? Swing kind of stops chest level. Same thing with the clean. They all have their benefits, but I wanted something that kind of hit all cylinders, right? So the snatch kind of did that. So it's super minimalist. So it's simple. Obviously, there's some practice and technique that goes into that, which I covered in our 5 common kettlebell mistakes series. I've covered in a 3-part snatch series. So plenty of information around that if you want to learn how to perfect the snatch. I even have a full-blown course, snatch blueprint, that goes into detail, a lot more into detail than this channel does on snatching. So it's simple. And being simple leads to repeatability. When something is simple, you can repeat it long-term. Right? I was able to do it for 5 straight months, and I only stopped because I just started doing some other things. So it's repeatable. And then that repeatability leads to consistency. And that's the key, being consistent every single day with your efforts. So I was like, you know what? And so right now as I'm making these videos, 2022, and my word for this year is consistency. Being consistent with making these kind of videos, being consistent with my training, being consistent with my eating. I hired a nutrition coach to really help me dial in my eating. Someone that's like objective. I coach, fat loss and weight loss and whatnot with our students in our men's program and even at our gym. I do that all the time, but it's easy for me to alter the eating plan, right? I don't have an objective, something objective to keep me accountable, to keep me accountable to my actions, right? So I hired a nutrition coach to help me with my consistency, right? And I love it because shout out to Jan. Jan is super simple with his approach. Right? Very easy. And so find something that's simple. Simple leads to repeatability. Repeatability leads to consistency long-term. And that's the secret. That's the secret to attaining your health, fitness goals, become the strongest version of yourself so you can lead your family, lead your wife, lead your kids from a place of strength and not from a place of like weakness and having to live life on the sidelines. So that's why I chose the snatch. So doing it every single day, right? And then what I started doing was, okay, I want to make sure that I'm recovering quickly between sets of snatching, right? So 100 snatches a day. And so what I started doing was I would snatch and then I would walk. It took several, testing to get the timing right. I found that 35 paces at a fairly, at a normal pace, 35 paces one direction, back to the bell, 35 paces in the other direction, back to the bell, puts me at 1 minute and 48 seconds on average, almost every single time. So it gives me 12 seconds to take a breath, shake things out, set up, and then snatch again. So essentially I'm doing a snatch, 10 snatches every 2 minutes, getting it all done, walks included, in just under 20 minutes, right? So sitting for long periods of time destroys your body, destroys your hips, tightens your upper back, destroys your shoulders. And on top of that, where I started counting my steps, right? In that little 20-minute snatch session, I get in a 1 mile walk. A 1 mile walk in between those sets of snatches. So I'm getting in over 2,000 steps in less than 20 minutes, right? So it's all about recovery. It's super simple. It's super minimalist. I'm actually working on I put it on the back burner, but I was doing this for 5 months, and eventually I came up with like a framework of like, if you wanted to run something like this, like a small program, like a bite-sized program, if you're interested in that, let me know, drop me something in the description, and I'll get that thing back up and running. But I put it off on the side, in the back burner. I had a lot of it already built out, but I just kind of put it on the back burner, got busy with some other projects. But I was able to get all the steps in, right? And so it's super minimalist, super repeatable. I was going to say something else, but then I just had a brain fart. Getting in my steps every single day, sitting. I can't remember what else I was going to say. Anyway, so it hits all those things, right? So that's kind of why. And so one reason that made me pick that up again is I like to break up my work and my sitting after 90 minutes. So I did my walk this morning, my long walk. Then I had breakfast, I had oatmeal. And then after that, I like to take a little 10-minute walk after I eat. So on that second 10-minute walk, there were these two dogs. There were these two dogs that I actually saw in my morning walk. I do my walk at 4 in the morning. I saw them in the morning, and they tried to like kind of attack me. Like they got pretty damn close. I didn't have anything to like defend myself. And I tried to act like I wasn't scared. These were big dogs. And so I ended up finally pulling my belt out, and eventually they went away. Well, on my morning walk after my oatmeal, I'm taking my walk. It's about like 8:15 in the morning. And as I'm coming back around the neighborhood, I'm not even paying attention. Like I think I was on my phone and I was logging in like my oatmeal that I ate. I was tracking it. And one of those freaking dogs just came out of nowhere. And luckily I had my sweater on. That freaking thing bit me twice. It bit me on my left elbow and it bit me on my right arm. My right forearm is pretty sore right now. Freaking bit me, dude. And I pulled my belt and I freaking chased it down and he still freaking came at me. So anyway, I was like, man, I want to get out and go for my walk, but shit, I don't want to come across those dogs again. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing those snatches again. I'm gonna start doing my 100 snatches again. I know what I was gonna say. I mean, it's the perfect kettlebell snack, right? I wrote an entire ebook about this, and I'm currently working on, well, not working on, but making the final edits to volume 5. It's the perfect workout snack, right? 20 minutes. And I'm working on a small program around the whole entire framework, if that's something that you want to run. And again, it just leads to that consistency every single day. It's something that's simple, it's repeatable, it leads to consistency. It helps you get all your steps in for the day. It breaks up the sitting and whatnot. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So that's pretty much it, man. I'm just kind of going on and on. That's what kind of why I'm getting back to that. And I just felt great doing it. Like my body just felt great. And here's another thing. One last thing. There's so many things. Here, I'm just going to be real with you for a moment, all right? Not having time to be active, not having time to get in a workout is not a good excuse. It is not a good excuse, all right? So a little dad moment, okay? It is not a good excuse, and I'm calling you out on your BS if you're going to use the excuse of, I've had a busy day today and I didn't get my workout in. That is not an excuse, all right? That is not an excuse. All you need is your body weight, go for a walk, or a kettlebell. And you can take little breaks. That's what kettlebell, man, that's one of the main reasons what kettlebell workout snacks was put together for you. These little bite-sized snacks, these little 10 to 15 minutes, you can stop for 10 to 15 minutes and get this in. There's programs that are so super simple, it's just kettlebell swings. Then they progress up into kettlebell complexes, into jerks, and Like, there is no excuse, bro, of why you can't stay consistent, all right? And if you and I ever have an interaction and you tell me that you're too busy to do something, I'm gonna call you out on that, because it's not the truth. It's not reality. You are the source of time. You are where time comes from. Time is not out there. I don't have time. That's not a reality, right? I covered this in one of my Deadlift Daily episodes, this concept of Einstein time that I read from Gay Hendricks in his book, The Zone of Genius, I think it was. Or maybe it's The Big Leap. He talks about Newtonian time versus Einstein time. And essentially Newtonian time is a finite source. You don't have enough of it. It's all about scarcity. It's living from coming at life from a scarcity mindset, right? An Einstein time is more on an abundance mindset. You are the source of time. If you need to get up earlier, get up earlier. If you got to stay up later, stay up later. But I encourage you, get up earlier. Or you can do these little workout snacks like I did today. All right, there's no excuse to not get this stuff in. Your family's depending on you, your kids are depending on you, and you're setting the example. You're setting the example for your family of how they're gonna respond when things need to get done. If you constantly live from a place of scarcity and a place of a mindset of, I don't have enough time, your kids are gonna take on that same exact mindset too. So that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna pause for today. After this, I'm gonna do a little bit more work. So I'm gonna get back to work. I got some video editing to do. I've got a couple of emails to write. If you need support around this stuff, I'll put in the description area, Kettlebell Workout Snacks. Be sure to grab that download, all right? And also leave me a comment below if you're interested in a simple, repeatable program like this, where something you can do every single day, something as simple as 100 snatches a day or something like that. I know it sounds extreme, but it's repeatable. If you're interested in something like that, drop a flex in the comments below, and I'll reach out to you, okay? Or I'll reply back to your comment. And then grab a copy of Kettlebell Workout Snacks. No reason why you can't do this stuff for 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna get back to work. I've got another 90-minute block that I'm gonna knock out. After that, I'm meeting with my dad. We're gonna hit up some steaks. We're gonna hit up arguably, I would say, the best steaks in the entire world. I know that is a big, bold claim. But bro, these steaks, they are the best steaks. Everybody that's ever visited me, come into Corpus, anybody that's ever we always take them to this steakhouse, and they're like, dude, I don't know, like where I come from, we've got the best steaks. And every single time they come, they're like, oh my gosh, these are the best steaks in the world. So I'm gonna finish up work. After that, I've got a coaching call. And then after that, I've got lunch with my dad, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of what some of those steaks look like. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit, man. Talk to you. All right, guys, so I'm getting ready to eat. It's about to go down. So I told you, these are the greatest steaks in the world, all right? So I'm gonna do a little flip around. Can I do a flip around? I don't know if I can do a flip around. There it is, 12-ounce ribeye, mashed gravy. Eating it with my dad. There's Big Heck. This Pops, all right. All right, guys, there it is, down the hatch.
But this is what we're working on.
Yo, what's up, man? So on my way to the gym now. I am fully fueled. Had lunch with Dad today. Had a big steak, mashed potatoes, gravy, and picked up the kids, and now on my way to the gym. So what I've already done today, what I've already accomplished today is I've already completed my work. Like I said, I work in 2 90-minute blocks. Usually take a 30-minute break. One of those 30-minute breaks, I use that time to get in 20 minutes of snatching. And now I'm heading in for my primary training session for the day, and that is getting after those deadlifts. So I think today is the 3rd day in cycle B. So how I've been running the lifting is, if you're new to the channel, how I've been running the daily deadlift is I break the week up. So I'm doing 7 days. So I break the week up into 2 cycles, cycle A, cycle B. Cycle A is days 1, 2, and 3. So that would be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? I'll have a percentage of the volume there. Then day 4 is a technical day. That is a day where I'm working on my skill set. I'm working on the skill sequencing. I believe, I can't recall what episode that was, but I'll tag it up here in the corner. Skill sequencing, that's when I start to work on my skill set, right? Which is usually around the wedge, the setup, etc. And then sometimes I work on some secondary stuff. Like right now I'm working on some body weight. So I'm working on push-up, one-arm push-up regressions, chin-up and pull-up, and dips. So working on that as well, aside from the deadlift. And then cycle B is days 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cycle B has the majority of the volume because you want your volume to peak at the end of the month. I'm sorry, you want your volume to peak at the end of the week. And so that's where the bulk of the volume's at. And today is day 3 in cycle B. So I got cycle A, cycle B. Today's day 3 in cycle B. So this would be the highest volume, but it's a deload week because I believe this is the last, I think today's the last day of my macro cycle of 500 lifts. It's a lot of lifts in a month, 500. Today's the last day of that. Tomorrow I've got a technical day. And then the following day, which would be, what's today? Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, technical day. Saturday, I kick off my next cycle, my next macro cycle. And we're gonna test out, see how I do. We're gonna test out 600 lifts. And I'm gonna see how that progresses. One thing I'm interested to see is how my Zercher squat has come along. When I started this current macro cycle, I started incorporating the Zercher at I believe the 60 to 70% weights. So I would use it as a ramp up, or I would use it as a drop set. And so when I started, I had a training max of, I'd never tested like my maximum for the Zercher. Mostly because it's an exercise, right? It's I guess you would call it an accessory if you wanted, but it's a great standalone exercise in and of itself. And so exercises aren't typically something that you try to set a 1 RM in, right? Those are probably best for 3 and 5 RM tests. So I set a 3 RM, and then I tested like a training max. It's kind of like, you know, what can I pick up? And I think I picked up 275. It was like maybe a 9 effort. I probably could have went a little bit heavier, but I just called it there. So I've been doing a lot of volume with the Zercher, and I've been lifting anywhere between 175. I think I would work up to 225, which is like anywhere between, I want to say 60 and 80%, which is usually right around that spot where you would want to, like the intensity zones. That's where you'd want to incorporate some of your secondary movements. And so I'm actually going to schedule for the next cycle coming up, I'm going to schedule some heavy lifts, and a few of them I'm going to dedicate to the Zercher to see if it's improved beyond 275. So I want to see if I can pick up 315 just right up in front of the body, see how I do with that. And so what I've got coming up in the next macro cycle is, like I said, 600 lifts, but I'm going to plan this a little different. I'm going to incorporate 3 movement patterns. Well, they're the same, 2 of them are the same movement pattern, but just a different stance, right? So I'm going to incorporate the conventional, the sumo, and the Zercher. So I'm going to be using the Zercher as I normally do as a ramp up. So that Zercher is going to represent like probably like those 50% upwards to 60% weights, and then 61 to 70% weight. 61 to 70% weights are going to represent the conventional. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to work on a stance that I don't normally train. Should also tie in some weak points. It's gonna really hit the glutes. It's gonna hit the lower back a lot more. It's gonna really hit the hamstrings too. But what I like about it is that's gonna give my hips a little bit of a little break, because I mentioned before with the sumo, you're always in an abducted hip position. So if I bring my knees closer together, I can work on some hip adduction, so kind of balance out some of that. So I'm gonna be pulling that in the 76, what is that, 61 to 70% weights. Zercher is gonna be 51 to 60. And then basically 71 up to 100% is gonna be allocated to sumo, which is my strongest stance. So we're already pulling up here. I'm gonna get set up, and then we'll check in with you in a bit. All right, see you in a second.
Got 30 seconds. There you go.
Yo.
40 seconds. 30 seconds. All day.
right, dude, so that's it. Oh, that's not good lighting. That's it, man. Kind of a tough training session today. The wedge definitely was not there. Every time when I would pull, I could feel the weight. I don't know if that makes any sense, but as soon as I would lock in what I thought was locked in, and then I would go, I would feel like I hit something, and then the weight would move instead of just one smooth motion there. So the a lot of the pulls didn't feel this smooth. 415 didn't feel that smooth. What did I pull next? I think I pulled 455, and then I went 475 for a double, and then I pulled 495 for a triple. And yeah, they're all pretty tough, a little bit of a grinder, but I am coming to the end of a month of 500 pulls. So tomorrow's technical day is going to be much needed, and then after that I'm going to start planning the 600 lift cycle, and we'll see how that month turns out. So that's pretty much it. Signing out for the day. It's already, you can see here, it's nighttime. I've already had just finished up all my meals, and it's time to go home, call it a day. Getting back up 3:30 in the morning, kick it all off again. All right, man, appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think about that framework, like I mentioned earlier today, about the 100 snatches a day. I have a framework kind of put together into a program that I started, but put it on the back burner, and I've been thinking about kind of getting it going again. But anyway, it's something that's simple to do, it's repeatable. If that's something you think you'd be interested in, just drop a comment below, let me know, and talk to you in the next video. Peace.